How many times are you going to keep giving up before it becomes a habit? If you make easy choices now, you're going to have a hard life later. Or if you do hard things now, you'll have an easy life later. So you got to just do the hard work. You got to be disciplined and really see it through. You don't want to be 5 years down the line questioning, what if I did this? What if I did that? Would the outcome have been different? That is the worst regret to live with that's imaginable. If you ask 100-year-old, 90-year-old people who are about to die and interview them, and you watch these interviews that people do, the one thing that they all have in common is they all regret, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have spent more time with my family, I wish I would have cared less about this, I wish I would have went and asked out that one girl. Their biggest regret is just having the regret of not doing things and wondering, what if I had done that? That is the most lingering regret that is always going to be on your mind for the rest of your life. So stop giving up. What if you hadn't given up? What if you had went through with that job application instead of getting scared and dropping out? What if you had finished college instead of dropping out? What if you had worked really hard towards that one thing that you said you would instead of giving up after just a couple of weeks? Your life could have been so different, and that's a regret that you never want to live with. Now, there's a difference between identifying that something isn't for you and giving up, right? If something is clearly not for you, then I would not recommend to force yourself to do something that you hate. But really ask yourself, at the end of the day, did I give this all I could have? Did I give it my full attention? Did I give it my full effort? And am I happy with what I put into it, right? And if that answer is yes, then that's okay. You can be at peace with that decision that you gave it your all, or you gave it your all that you could have in that moment. But the point is, there are so many people nowadays that just keep giving up, giving up, giving up, giving up, and it just becomes a habit. And that is one of the worst habits that you can ever have, because that habit will follow you. Even if you're young right now, that habit's going to follow you into your 30s and 40s and 50s. That's why you see so many people who don't have grit, determination, and discipline nowadays. So many people, they get themselves into something, they get themselves over their head, and they just give up. They get married to their high school girlfriend, and as soon as they realize that there's struggle involved in marriage, they give up and get divorced. They're not willing to battle it out and really see it through and keep going. Like I said, if you want to live an easy life, you have to make the hard choices now. You can't just make all these easy, comfortable choices and expect to just live an easy life. That's not how it's going to work. You're going to have to work for it. No one's going to do it for you, and you need to stop giving up. And you're not only giving up on yourself, you're giving up on your friends, you're giving up on your family, you're giving up on the people that love you and who sacrifice things so that you could be in this opportunity, and you're not putting it to use. You're wasting it. You need to capitalize on the opportunity that you have. If you're young, you're in your 20s, you're living at home rent free, capitalize on that. Use that money to either invest in the stock market, use that money to start a business, do something, right? That's an opportunity right in front of your face. There's two types of people. There's one person who, they pray for an opportunity, the opportunity is right in front of their eyes, but they're too dumb to see it, right? That's person one. Person two is that they actually identify the opportunity and they take full advantage of it. And even if that opportunity is something that other people have, that doesn't discredit that's still an opportunity, right? Living at home rent-free in itself is already a great opportunity. Take advantage of that. Not having student loans or having car debt or having a mortgage on a house, that's an opportunity. Take advantage of that. Being in college and maybe you're on financial aid, that's an opportunity. Take advantage of that and get your degree. The point is, we all have our own unique opportunities, and you need to take advantage of them instead of just ignoring them or convincing yourself that everyone else has the same opportunities too, right? Don't just do that, right? Take advantage of the cards you were dealt. Everyone has dealt different cards. Take advantage of yours and stop giving up. If you keep pushing, you keep pursuing, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And a good example of this in my own personal life is I was so lost, I didn't know what to do, so I ended up dropping out of college. During that process, I was working part-time, I was working full-time, and I just ended up wasting 4 years of my life, being 1 foot in, 1 foot out when it came to college. I always knew college wasn't for me, but I did it anyways because I just wasn't brave enough to go against my whole family, to go against the social norm of going to college, right? And I folded. When it was time to make the decision, I folded, and I went to college anyways, and it just ended up wasting my time, right? After college, I started working full-time at a car dealership, and eventually I got a job for the fire department. This felt like the best moment of my life, right? I went through this intense application process. I was going to make good money, and I was going to finally have a respectable, honorable job that I felt like perfectly aligned with my personality and just, the type of person who I wanted to be even 5 years in the future, right? So I was so excited. Everyone around me was so excited for me. And When it was finally time for me to enter the academy, which is 6 months long, and obviously you need to do that to become a firefighter. So as soon as I entered the academy, 2 weeks in, I literally tore my ACL from doing jumping jacks, right? And I know that sounds super embarrassing, super crazy, right? It doesn't really make any sense. I felt like I was one of the most physically capable people there, and I tore my ACL to something so unlucky and something that just doesn't even make sense, right? And the point is, life is going to throw these at you. There's so many times in your life where, you're going to be right there. You're going to be right at the edge of something great. You're finally going to get something you've always wanted your whole life, and there's going to be that one thing that just is so random and absurd that it just has you questioning everything. It has you questioning God. It has you questioning life. It has you questioning destiny and fate. And when you are in that situation, it is completely up to you, not what happened. What happened isn't your fault, but it's completely up to you how you react in that moment. Do you see it through, or do you take that as a sign to give up? And that is something that I struggle with in that moment. At first, I thought it was a sign, maybe from God, maybe from the universe, maybe firefighting isn't for me. And then I snapped out of it. And I realized that this is just a sign that if I really want this bad enough, I'm going to have to work. I might have to work at this harder than someone else who it's been easy for their whole life and they just had an easy way through whatever and an easy path to become a firefighter. But guess what? That's not my path. That's not the path I was given. And I saw this as a test to get back even stronger, to heal, to get surgery, to go through rehab. And even now, I have to work an office job. The whole reason I became a firefighter is because I didn't want to work an office job. But I am putting up with that struggle because I know that these are just the hurdles that I have to get through to become this, right? And even though it might not be fair, right? Other people don't have to do this. This doesn't happen to other people. I understand that everyone has their own challenges. Everyone is on their own path. So stop comparing your challenges and what life has given you to what life has given other people, because everyone has their own path. And what is in your control is how you react to it, whether or not you give up or whether you push forward. I didn't ask to be in an office job. That is literally like the last thing. That's the reason I didn't go to college, is because I didn't want to just work an office job that I hated and pretend to like and get along with all these people, make small talk in the office and do work I didn't care about just to get a paycheck. That wasn't a sacrifice I was willing to make. But guess what? I'm in that position now because this job is something that I have wanted more than anything I've wanted my entire life, and I am not willing to give up. I'm literally willing to die for this job, right? I want it so bad, and it just is perfectly aligned with who I am as a person, what I want to contribute to this world, and there's no one that's going to take it away from me, right? Think about it, guys. If there's something you've been wanting your whole life and it's right in front of your face, you're not just going to just go up and grab it. You're going to fucking snatch that shit. Like, you're going to take it. You're going to take what's yours. And I basically got that. I was right up to the point where it was right there, and then bam, something snatched it from me. So what am I going to do? Just let it run away with what I've wanted my whole life? No, I'm going to go chase after it. I'm going to get it back because it's what I want. And it's what I deserve. Now, you have to have that same mindset with your own life, guys. I was once in your shoes. I was completely lost, and I was someone who I tried a lot of different things. I saw pretty good success in almost all the things that I tried, but I never kept going. I always started something, saw some success, and I got bored, where I found excuses of why I shouldn't do this and I should do this instead. I felt like I was that one kid that was like interested in everything. I knew a little bit about everything, but I wasn't like mastering one specific thing. So I was just so broad, and that can bite you in the butt. But the point is, don't give up. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. You owe it to the people that love you to not give up on yourself. And especially don't make giving up on things a habit, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe if you had just worked a little bit harder, maybe if you had just stuck it through for a little bit longer, you would have been able to see that light. But if you keep giving up and let that become a habit, it's going to ruin your life, and it's going to trickle into your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. And you're just going to be that one person that everyone knows. There's no point of even, telling them, because they're just going to quit, right? There's no point of them trying this, we're trying this job, because they're just going to quit. You already know it, because it's the type of person that they are. Don't become that person, and see it through. If you want an easy, good, great life, you have to work hard now.